Guys, the release of Creed 3 is just under a month away, and let me tell you, I have had such a great time looking back at every single Rocky/Creed movie we've gotten so far. We're about halfway home in the build-up to March 3rd, and it's been such a great time. But today we're going to be looking at the black sheep of the franchise, Rocky 5. And how do I know it's the black sheep? Sylvester Stallone himself doesn't even like this movie, and he actually wrote this stinker. So Rocky Balboa is recently retired, and he falls on hard times after his accountant mismanages his finances. So that right there pretty much erases all of the fame and credibility that he came across once Rocky 2 happened. So he stages a comeback of sorts by mentoring fiery young boxer Tommy Gunn, played by the late Tommy Morrison, while also trying to mend his shaky relationship with his own son Robert, played by Sylvester's real-life son Stage. And these challenges proved to be at least as tough as any fight Rocky has faced in the ring. Now, just to provide you some background on how much people had soured on this franchise, Rocky 4 wasn't really that much critically acclaimed, as funny as it is. And this movie was released 5 years after Rocky 4, and nobody went and saw this in the movie theater. Not only because, number one, people were sick of this franchise by this point, but it was also released coincidentally alongside Dances with Wolves, which wound up winning Best Picture in 1990, and Home Alone. Home Alone being one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. So no shit, this movie did poorly at the box office. And when you watch this movie, I really don't think it's as horrible as a lot of people are saying it is. It was nominated for a bunch of Razzie Awards that year, but I don't think it warrants that. I think there's still enough well-made features within this movie. Like, I really respected the fact that Stallone went back and got John G. Avildsen to come back to the franchise to direct this one, because he did such a good job helming the first Rocky movie, and since he left the franchise in 1977, he had gone on to direct pretty much every single Karate Kid movie up to that point. So this is a very good director, and they're trying to go back to their roots, basically. They're trying to ground Rocky in the city of Philadelphia. And the movie doesn't end with Rocky in the boxing ring, because a big plot point is Rocky has to retire due to excessive brain damage. And the movie actually ends with a very personal street fight between Rocky and Tommy Gunn. And I also like the dynamic of Rocky being a mentor and a trainer. Granted, this is a relationship that would be exploited much, much better once the Creed movies came along, but I like the concept behind it. Overall, though, the execution of Rocky 5 left a lot to be desired, and it's easy to see why people don't like this movie. There's a lot of plot elements going on, and this is only about an hour and 40 minutes worth of a runtime. And it feels like this movie is trying to be at least 3 different movies at once. It's trying to be this financial drama and Rocky trying to recover from it outside of retirement. It's trying to be Rocky becoming the teacher, mentoring this new student Tommy Gunn, which, yes, that is a pun name, and I really dig that. And Tommy Morrison does have good material in here, and he gives a solid performance. But overall, the character of Tommy Gunn feels incredibly rushed. Like, his introduction is literally just Rocky bumping into him on the street, and he's like, "Oh, hey, yeah, I'm a boxer. I was a huge fan of yours." And then 2 minutes later, they're training in Mickey's gym. And then on the flip side, the movie is also trying to be about Rocky's relationship with his son, Robert, who, let me just say this, my biggest problem with Rocky 5 is the big plot holes in the continuity. See, Rocky 5 is supposed to take place pretty much directly after the events of Rocky 4, when Ivan Drago is defeated. How old was Robert Jr. in Rocky 4? Probably about 8 or 9 years old. But then you go into Rocky 5, and Sage Stallone is a freaking teenager. Like, all they had to do was put in, like, a little title card that said 5 years later after that opening montage. Or better yet, even put in another montage. The franchise really enjoys doing montages. But no, we're supposed to buy that this 14-year-old is actually 9 on screen. See, it's little things like that that really, really bug me about this writing sometimes. In addition to the fact that Adrian and Paulie are pretty much copy and paste from previous movies. The arguments that Adrian and Rocky have, you've seen before. Yeah, Talia Shire is good in the movie, but it's like, you've seen it before. Don't even get me started on George Washington Duke, who, in my opinion, just might be the most forgettable Rocky villain out of all of them. Because if you saw my MCU playlist at all in the build-up to Black Widow when that came out, You know that I was really annoyed by seeing so many men in suits in phase 1. This is another man in the suit. And I'm like, for God's sakes, I've seen this guy before, and he is written to be such a caricature as well. Like, there was not one single moment in this performance that was convincing for me, unfortunately. So yeah, a lot of plot elements here and there. The return of Burgess Meredith, which is horribly exploited. That may be one of the most damning things of all, is how they utilize Burgess Meredith in flashback sequences. Like, Rocky 5 is a tough one, guys. This is far and away the weakest entry out of this entire franchise, bar none. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And it's easy to see why Stallone really doesn't like to talk about this movie, because didn't really do all that well at the box office. Quality is not really up there with the other entries. And this is a franchise that left a lot of people turned off from the sports realm for a while. Even though I respect some of the concepts in here that would be utilized much better in future entries, and even though it's a solid directorial attempt, Rocky 5 is not going to be the movie I pop back in the most, unfortunately. I'm going to give Rocky 5 a C-. Yeah, pretty much the undisputed heavyweight chump of this series. But let me know what you thought of Rocky 5 down in the comment section below. Is this your least favorite of the franchise as well? Guys, I love discussing all new things in movies and entertainment, good or bad. If you like discussing all these topics, this channel is the place to be. So please do consider becoming a subscriber. It's absolutely free. And please tap on that notification bell as well so you don't miss another second of this action. And please do me a solid and smash the like button as well. This only helps continue to grow this amazing community that we've already built together. Next up in this playlist, of course, is a film 15, 16 years in the making. We're going to be looking at Rocky Balboa, or Rocky 6 if you want to be pedantic about that. That should be a lot of fun. Go check out my review for Knock at the Cabin as well. I can't wait to see that again this week. It was so good. Y'all are the best. Thank you so much again for tuning in. And with all that being said, back talk commence.